G'day, we're Brad and Hayley. Now behind us here is our Peregrine, which we've owned for just over 12 months and put over 20,000 kilometres on it. Let's get into a 12-month review of our Zone RV.
Well, it was a bit over 12 months ago. We stopped in at Zone for an out of the blue meeting after receiving a Facebook message of encouragement following one of our regular weekend episodes. And things went well there, and our values and expectations aligned perfectly with the Zone RV brand. Before we knew it, we spent 3 months working in the business, getting to know the product and the people behind it. Armed with a broad range of knowledge, from composites to components, we were missing out on just one thing: on-the-ground experience. Doing what we do best, adventuring around Australia and documenting our experiences along the way. So that's just what we did, taking off to put our new wheels to the ultimate test. A huge half lap around Australia, from sealed roads to the most remote, from blistering heat to below freezing temperatures. We were about to do it all. We headed south for the summer, working our way along the Murray River, shaking down our new van and getting to know all of the systems in intricate detail. After eating up a few thousand kilometres and camping in some epic locations, we hit the Nullarbor, bound for Western Australia. We knew this place had it all, from challenging terrain to remote off-grid locations and jaw-dropping scenery. Just what we needed to put our Peregrine to the test. We spent a few months working our way along the southwestern coast, ticking Esperance, Albany, Bremer Bay and the Stirling Ranges off our list before hitting the Margaret River and then heading up to Perth. Once we were north of Perth, this is where the true off-grid adventures began. Hot weeks filled with 40-degree days, corrugated roads and remote beach camping is what we kept ourselves occupied with for months, staying out there on these beautiful turquoise beaches for fortnights at a time, only heading into town for water and food. Really, why else would you leave when we had the luxuries of a modern $1 million beachfront apartment for a fraction of the price? We were lapping up this coastline for around 3 months and we were craving a different adventure. So we headed east, christening our zone with the vibrant red dirt the Pilbara region is known for, free camping our way around the area when we come up with a crazy idea. Cross Australia in less than a month and travel from the hottest town to the coldest town in the continent. In just a few weeks, we were doing just that, heading further east along a track known as a Garry Junction, through Australia's most remote towns and rugged interior. It was the ultimate test of endurance and reliability for our caravan, eating up 1,500 kilometres of corrugations and bull dust for 4 days straight. Right off the back of the crossing, we cruised in the red centre briefly, but still had around 3,000 kilometres to cover before we could get into the Alpines, which was hard going, not only on the car, but also on the van. And after some big driving days, we made it into the sub-zero temperatures, a completely foreign caravanning experience for us. To put it simply, we were overwhelmed with the comforts the caravan afforded us, no matter the environment or what we demanded of it. Now, putting yourself out there on the internet or pinning your name to a brand, you're always going to cop flack from critics who wish to question your integrity. We cannot stress how much we appreciate the people who see we're genuine, truthful and transparent, and know how selective we are when it comes to working with brands. Our original walkthrough video was met with such positivity and we're very grateful for that, but at the end of the day, it's hard to comment on performance of a product without pushing its limits, and I think we've done just that, travelling over 20,000 kilometres in a year, throwing ourselves in the deep end and realising that we were capable of more than what we thought, but also our caravan still had unlocked potential. Anyway, without further ado, this is what we've learnt in the past year about our Zone Peregrine.
So yeah, we've compiled a bunch of questions that we've been asked at shows, open days around the country. We understand what a massive financial commitment it is buying a caravan and how much research goes into it. So we've seen spreadsheets, we've seen all this stuff that drives people to make decisions, and after dragging this thing around the country, we feel like we're really in the position to give our viewers a really accurate description of our thoughts and our opinions and our experience as well. So
definitely, and also like we've taken this on all different terrains, from like beach camps to the desert to the snow. So
we've been everywhere, man, literally. It's been an awesome 12 months. And if you want to see a full detailed walkthrough, we have filmed that originally when we first picked up the van. So this will be a bit different to that video.
Yeah, this is our review.
So I guess the first thing we'll start off with, how has it held up generally? And let's go for a walk around. It's a fully composite van. That means it's manufactured out of like glue, foam, fiberglass, and obviously the chassis is all steel. And I was actually quite surprised with how well the fiberglass holds up and also cleans. We've traveled like over stony, corrugated roads. Probably, I don't know, 10% of our overall kilometers have been over those types of roads. You do see a few stones stray from the stone stomper. We've got big tyres on our Land Cruise that like to flick stones up, but you can see the decal here. There's a few little stone chips on that decal, but if you look on the actual fiberglass itself, actually got free from any like stone chips. It's so tough. Also, we've dragged it down like tight tracks where there's bushes and brush, and you'd think it would scratch the side of the van. You'd think it'd put gouges in the fiberglass, but mate, you hit that with a broom and it comes up brand new. We did opt for this protection pack. This is like a rubberized coating. That does protect the lower part of the van from like, yeah, brush strikes and stuff. Overall, I'm really happy with how it's all performed. I use a silicone spray. Just the WD-40 brand silicone spray seems to work the best, I found, out of all the different silicone sprays I've used. Keeps it nice and black, keeps it shiny, keeps it sort of hydrated, for lack of a better word. And for the like actual fiberglass, I've just gone to BCF and picked up a 303. They call it an aerospace marine protectant. It's just like a spray-on coating, and I do that every like 3 to 6 months, and it just makes the fiberglass really shine, protects it from UV and things like that. And obviously always constantly washing it. I like to use CT20. It's like a wash and wax, seems to be the best thing to make it come up brand new. It's amazing how well this van can come up after being covered in red dirt, covered in salt, sand, whatever. It's amazing how well it can come up if you just go to a car wash and hit it with a broom quickly. The fiberglass really doesn't take much to get it to shine, and with those different protectants like the 303 and the silicone spray, we actually had a comment the other day, only a few days ago, where a lady come up and asked us when we picked the van up because it looks brand new. So it's good to be able to use those different things to keep your van looking spick and span. So it having airbag suspension and an Australian steel made in-house chassis, that has been flawless. The airbags are just amazing. It's like a magic carpet ride for a 3.5 ton van. So yeah, the chassis and the airbag system has worked really well, and also the underbody protection. Like the roads that we've been on, traveling over corrugations and flicking rocks up, the underbody has been really well protected. We haven't busted any water pipes, we haven't busted any water tanks, which is quite a common issue for caravans. We haven't bothered with foam noodles or any protection like that. Underneath it, it's really well protected, and you can see that through the checker plate. Also, you know, cleaning, you can jack the airbags up, hose in around everything. If you've been on the beach, if you've got a lot of red dirt under there, it's easy to clean and it's easy to maintain. So basically the only maintenance I really have done on this van is just keeping up with greasing. I like to make sure that the bushings on my suspension arms are constantly greased. My DO45 hitch is constantly greased. That's the main sort of maintenance that you need to keep up with. Obviously, we've had it serviced every 10,000 Ks, and we have had a few warranty things fixed, which we'll get into later in the video. But overall, as a whole, and it being a composite van, which was something that we hadn't had any experience of, and now that we've, you know, torture tested it for the last 12 months, I'm a firm believer in composites, and I'm a massive fan of composites too. All right, so now we'll move on to some things we really love about our Zone RV. I'll start outside and talk about a few of the things I like. Obviously composites, we just sort of touched on that. I love the fact that they can sort of dream up something and then make it, because composite's such a versatile material. They can, yeah, make things like this awesome outdoor kitchen, which would be the second thing that I really love about the Zone RV, having this massive table space, you know, having mates over, cooking up, you know, you've been out fishing all day, have a few beers, have a massive spread. There's so much room, you know, you can have 3 people all preparing food on this table, or even 4, which we've had at some points. And not only that, but if you just want to have like a quiet beer on a Friday night, you want to put the footy on, there's like a TV bracket outdoors here, put the footy on, have a couple quiet beers, pull out the kitchen here. So it's just quick and easy. Just slide our barbecue slide out on there. We've got our gas barbecue, we've also got our air fryer, and basically what you've got there and what you've got here, you can have a cook up outside, and it's relatively easy. You know, you pull it out in a minute or less. So yeah, the outdoor kitchen we're really loving. Airbags, I sort of always harp on about the airbags. It's just been such a massive change after having to use leveling blocks and things like that. So this is the Cruise Master ATX. So being able to level, and just the general ride quality has been so good. We haven't had a single issue with the airbags, you know, no leaks, no punctures from sticks, no nothing like that. And we've definitely put it through its paces. So another thing I really love about the Zone RV is this accessible ladder. It doesn't seem like much, but being able to just pull it down and have full access to the roof, clean your solar panels, clean the roof of the van. It just makes life so much easier. The solar and the battery system in this van, obviously a massive plus for us. We've tripled our solar and battery output compared to our last van. So that's been awesome for us, like working on the road. And you can see in the side here, this is also where our battery system is. We have 2 Red Arc BC DC chargers plus a Manager 30, so all up 130 amps worth of charging power. And you can probably see on this little thing here, I'll show you, that's our little odometer. I'll just turn the car on so you can see it. So yeah, there you go, 21,400, so just over 20,000 Ks, which has been really good. So yeah, battery system, awesome. Starlink, airbags, composite, love it. All right, the last thing that I really love about the Zone RV is the massive amount of storage that we've got. So we've got a tunnel boot here. We've got probably a metre of storage in here, which I've just got ram-packed with anything and everything, a lot of cleaning supplies and hoses and things like that. It's just nice to be able to have and carry all spares and things like that. This big box at the front here, we've got just a single gas bottle in here, but also keep a bit of charcoal cooker. And on the other side of that, there's like, I don't know, 1,400 mil of storage space by like 700 mil, so massive storage box. We've just got so much storage in this van. We've got empty spots everywhere, but it's nice and convenient to have a lot of the storage outside. So yeah, the storage is a massive plus, and the fact that these are a lightweight van, they come out with a really light ball weight. So this van come out with like 190 kilo ball weight, which really allows you to load this front box, load the front tunnel boot, load under the bed, and it won't exceed your ball weight. I think our ball weight's around 310 kilos. So we have the bulk of our storage up the front of the van, and it's really not exceeding our ball weight. Like you can see on other vans that you might have a 350 or 370 kilo ball weight without sort of putting too much storage up the front. So yeah, love all the different storage areas. And now we'll jump inside with Patsy and she'll tell you some of the things that she loves about the inside of the Zone RV.
So one of our favourite things about our van is that it has a fully electric interior. So that means that the inside is completely gas free. This was a big change for us coming from our previous van, which was really reliant on gas, to now being in this van, it uses all electricity. Obviously with a fully electric interior, we need a really strong power system to make that happen. And that's been incredible. It powers everything that we need. And when we don't want to control it from inside the caravan, we have the Red Vision app on our phone, so you can control it from our phone as well. So we can even turn all that on from the car if we wanted to. So that's really cool. So the Zone caravans are 100% dust free, and the reason that they can do that is because they're gas free, so you don't have to have all those little gas vents and that could possibly let dust in. So obviously that's a huge advantage. Every time we go on a gravel road or a dirt road or somewhere where there's dust, we don't have to do anything. Like every time we move, it's just the same procedure. As long as all the windows are closed, the doors shut, that creates the seal, and no matter what road we're going on, nothing is getting inside the van. So it's really good to have that peace of mind that after a long day driving through the outback or whatever, when you finally get to camp, you don't open up and there's dust inside that you have to deal with. We can just get straight into relaxing. We really love the layout that we chose. So going with an L-shaped lounge, we find helps create a lot more open space. Like it feels very open, especially with the door being here. You know, you're not having to have a lounge that cuts into your hallway here. It all just kind of is open and flows through. So we find that makes it feel a lot bigger inside, you know, for a 19-foot van, which we think is the perfect size for us. But yeah, it feels a lot bigger in here, which is cool, and I think that comes down to the layout. Now, one of my absolute favorite features, and a lot of other fellow ladies who I talk to who are traveling in their zones love this feature as well. It's the diesel hot water system. Now, when you have a diesel hot water system, it only takes like a couple of minutes to heat up, and then once the water's hot, it just stays hot. So if you're hooked up to water and you don't have to conserve water, you can actually have a normal hot shower at a normal length, which is amazing. So it's not like the gas hot water systems or even the electric hot water systems where you only have about 4 or 5 minutes worth of hot water. Like this one can run, someone can be having a shower while someone's using hot water to wash up. It's really good. So the only times where we notice a change in that is when we traveled to the snow, so we were in really cold outside temperatures. The diesel hot water takes a little bit longer to heat up because I guess the ambient temperature is so cold, so it takes longer to heat it up. So that when we were there, it was probably taking like 10 or 15 minutes to heat up the hot water. And then obviously same thing when you're in the shower, it's not going to last as long because it's taking longer to heat up that water. So that was the only time that, you know, we didn't have an endless supply of hot water. But most of the time you're chasing the good weather, and when the weather outside is nice, the hot water is going to be good. And finally, we absolutely love the composting toilet. Like anyone who has any hesitation about a compost toilet, I don't think they've had one before. We were the same. Once you have one, you will know the feeling. You'll never ever be able to go back to a cassette toilet. We never ever have to look for dump points anymore. And previously we had to look for a dump point every 2 to 3 days. Now I know that's more of a Brad issue because he was the one that would use the dump points, but now, yeah, we don't have to worry about that at all. This thing lasts like at least 4 weeks, maybe up to 5 or 6 weeks before it needs to be dealt with, and we just find it easiest just to put it into a garbage bag, double bag it and put it in the bin, and that's really easy to do. And then we put the new peat brick in, follow the instructions depending on which peat brick we got as to how much water we put in. But a tip there is just to like probably put less water in and then add more water if it needs it after a little while, rather than putting too much in and then wasting that lot of compost. But yeah, that's great. And there's not too, like once you've done it a few times, it's so easy, and you don't have to be too strict with, you know, your consistency either. Like it's fine. Yeah, love the compost. Okay, so now that we've talked about our favourite features of our van, we'll now go into what we would change about our caravan.
Yeah, so the first option I think we would up spec would definitely be the batteries. So the batteries are good. 600 amp hour is really good if you're in like good temperatures all the time, if you're chasing sort of warmer weather. But it's when you start to get into the extreme heat and extreme cold where I find having an extra battery would really be useful. Extreme heat, like we would probably use the air conditioner a fair bit more, and extreme cold, you're just sort of bargaining for a few overcast days, so an extra 200 amp hour would really hold us over. So that, yeah, in that aspect, yeah, extra battery and just max out solar. I know Zone are doing more solar on the roof now, so we would just go, you know, full ball on that, especially for like full-time traveling. Yeah, I think also having the comforts of this van, it's been nice to be able to travel. I think we've unlocked a sort of a thing where we like to travel out of season. It's been like really exciting to be able to do that for the first time, and we want to do more of that. So yeah, just a bit extra on there, and that would hold us over in those periods of extreme heat or extreme cold.
Yeah, definitely. Although it does come down to personal preference. Like if we were just doing shorter trips or just trips for a few weeks at a time, this is more than enough for what we need.
Absolutely. Another thing we'd probably change is we'd go from a manual awning to an automatic awning, just for ease of use. And we don't ever like to tie it down, and we never really stay anywhere that long where we would need to or want to tie it down. So being able to roll that awning in and out with the push of a button would just make life so much easier. You know, there's been countless times where I've been out there in my undies at 3 o'clock in the morning after the wind blows up and having to pack the manual awning away. Yeah, I'd have a much better sleep if I was just able to push a button from the inside. And yeah, we'd probably use more of the awning because as it stands, like with the manual awning, there's sort of like a half awning setup, which I do all the time, and that doesn't give us the full coverage of shade, but it's much stronger and more convenient for us to use. So yeah, if we had the auto awning, we'd be able to get that full length, use that full length. And
so it'd be so easy just to press it whenever we want full shade, and then
I tell everyone that. So yeah, we'll get that and we'll test it out. So who knows, maybe we'll go back to a manual awning in the future, but I reckon the auto awning's the go for us.
Yeah, I think it depends what sort of traveling you're doing again. Like a lot of people I know will go to a spot and they'll set up and they'll be there for, you know, a month or more even. And if we were doing that, you'd probably want to set it up properly, like a manual awning, and tie it all down properly. But we never do that. Like we're always on the move, and quick and easy auto awning is good for us.
So another thing we'd change, or we'd add to a new build is we'd probably go for like an aftermarket protective film on the windows. Like the fiberglass holds up really well to scratching. The windows do a really good job, and I'm sure you can buff some of the pinstripes that we've got out of them, but just being able to wrap the windows, I know there's companies out there that supply a wrap, you can just do it yourself. So yeah, I just think that covering the windows with just a protective film is just like a little bit of preventative maintenance and could save you a bit of time down the track.
I think the only other thing that we would change would be like these lights up here. We don't use them too often because they're so bright. Like it's daytime at the moment, so they're good to have on when we're filming, but at nighttime when you put those on, it's like, whoa. But we do have these roof lights up here that are less bright, so we usually just end up using those ones. However, the newer models of Zone have now put these on a dimmable setting, so that would be ideal. Yeah, compared to what we have now.
Yeah. Okay, so a thing that a lot of people want to know, especially at the shows, they can come and ask us what sort of warranty issues have we had and how's the van held up. So Zone do a shakedown period. You go up to Hangar Row, you test the van out, you go and do 1,000 Ks. We didn't need anything fixed in that first period. We did, however, get down to southwest, WA, down to Albany, and we found that we had like a pinhole leak in one of our roof vents, so that just needed some extra silicone. We want to use like the same systems that Zone owners use, rather than calling someone that we might know at Zone. We went through the same systems that say you would if you bought a Zone and had a warranty issue. You lodge a ticket online, it's really simple. You send them an email with what's wrong and you send them pictures and stuff like that, and they'll approve it. Generally they got back to me in less than 24 hours, but you could probably allow 48 hours. They'll get back to you, approve the warranty. There's also the benefit of having like a support hotline, like a tech support hotline. So we've also had an issue with our pump. It was user error, but I just called the Zone RV tech support and they talked me through it. They were able to sort me out. We've used all these sorts of warranty and tech support systems, and I have to say that I've been really impressed with them, and I think a lot of Zone owners that we've also talked to have been impressed with how quick and efficient they are. If you know the system, if you know the sort of the way to go about it, then it's really quick and easy. So yeah, we did have that warranty. It wasn't really a pressing issue. There was just a pinhole leak when it rained. We got that fixed, as well as the service down in Albany. After our first 10,000 K service, we had that one warranty item that we had rectified. That was quick and easy. They paid for it, whatever. Then the next 10,000 Ks, we had a few things come up. We did a fair bit of travel in between them. Nothing was sort of urgent. We just put them all off until we got back to Coolum, where we had, I think it was Torque Caravan Services in Coolum, fix that up for us. And I'll just run off the list of the things that we had fixed. So outdoor kitchen leaked. So when it rained, a little bit of water come in, and I think there was something wrong with the seal, so they just replaced the seal, and it's been fine ever since. We had the dual induction cooktop internally. Something happened to that and it just wouldn't turn on, so we had that replaced. Luckily we had the portable induction cooktop that Zone also supplies, so we were just able to get away with that. That was fine. So yeah, those are the two things that we had that were sort of major issues. The rest of them I'll just run through. They're pretty minor things, and they're things that we could just defer until we had our 20,000 K service done. So we replaced the ball valve on the grey water tank. We replaced the water solenoids. One was just stuck open. We replaced the diesel tank breather. We replaced the inverter. That was probably another major one, but it didn't sort of give us any grief until pretty close to our 20K service. There was some issue with the remote switching where the inverter would turn on by itself, and there was a draw mechanism that was just wasn't closing properly, so we had that replaced. Our jack extension switch, sometimes you'd hit it when it was cold and it wouldn't go up, so they just replaced that, and that's been working fine. And they also replaced a HEPVO valve, which is just sort of like a one-way valve under the van, so they get clogged with stuff and they just replaced that. So all in all, there's probably 3 major items on that, but that's all we've had in 21,500 kilometers, which is really quite good. We've done a lot with this van too.
I think a lot of those like the other ones you just rattled off were all just like from extended use. Yeah. Like what you would normally replace after a year of traveling.
Yeah, there's definitely a few maintenance things there for sure. And yeah, we've used the crap out of this van. So we're pretty happy with how it's performed and how all the
Very
warranty and
happy.
service stuff has been sorted out. So yeah, that's that. Overall, we're incredibly happy with how the van has performed, and you know, the things that we've done with it have been an awesome year of travel.
Yeah, like some of our overall highlights is just like how easy it is to use. Like it's been so well designed, like so much thought has been gone into it, and I guess like we see a lot of behind the scenes of how much they test it, how they use the vans beforehand before they design it, so we can really see how that's all came about. And you can, it's just so evident now that we're in the van and we've been living in it and traveling in it, how easy everything is. Like it just all makes sense. Like we can run all of our appliances, we could get extra appliances. Like I mentioned, we bought the coffee machine, we bought the air fryer, obviously we've already got the microwave and all that. Like you actually have the capacity to have all those things, and when you're living in it and traveling for extended periods, you do want those comforts to be able to allow you to travel for longer and see more things and go to more remote places when you're more comfortable.
Definitely feels like a home on wheels. Like being able to run all those appliances, and it just literally feels like a 1-bedroom apartment on wheels.
Like I remember when we were at the Brisbane Caravan show, some people said to me, oh, do you ever just want to go and stay in a hotel to, like, you know, actually have some luxury? And honestly, no. Like we were staying in a hotel at the Brisbane Caravan show and we were less comfortable than we are in our caravan. Like it is so comfortable in here. We've got all of our things in here. Like it's got everything that we need.
Yeah, I think also the 19-foot like layout is just like the perfect amount of size for us. Like it's the perfect amount of space. Like it's a big van, don't get me wrong, 19-foot is a pretty big van, but for full-time living, this is like a real sweet spot, I find. And having that, all this extra space and storage areas.
Storage. Yeah, like we don't even use all of the storage space.
And we carry way more than what we need to.
Yeah. But I guess that we carry more than what we need to because the van is lightweight, and you know, like it's the weights. So what are we? It tared at
2750, I think.
Yeah, just under 2.8 ton. Then when we weighed it after we put all of our stuff in it, we were like 3.3 something ton.
Yeah.
I would say probably like those times when we were on the Ningaloo doing big off-grid, like, you know, stints.
When we're filling the shower full of stuff.
Yeah, filling the shower filled with like cartons and whatever. Like, we would have been 3-4 or something. Yeah. With an extra 100 kilos of stuff maybe. But yeah, the weight of it, the lightweightness has allowed us to bring a lot more stuff.
So yeah, we love it. And we also recommend to anyone who is interested in these types of vans that, like, we can confidently say that we would recommend it to anyone. We've recommended it to family members, we've recommended it to friends, and like, we stand by this product. Like,
my mum and dad have a caravan and they want to get a zone now. Like, obviously, if we didn't think it was good, we'd be telling them don't do that.
They're great towing. The bang for your buck you get, like, in terms of, you know, technology in the van. Like, you get so much tech in the van. And that's like, and you're able to have that because you've got the reduced weight because of the composite design. So yeah, you don't sort of compromise on too much with the zone van, and still being able to tow it with, you know, regular vehicles, like having a 3.5 ton van. Sort of the amount of tech that's going into vans these days is that it's harder and harder to achieve those 3.5 ton towing capacities, and for Zone to be able to do that, and we can still get away with it towing with a Land Cruiser, it's really cool.
Yeah, and another cool thing that we feel good about with the van is how the Zone vans hold their resale value like really well. Considering how popular they are, you'd think that maybe there'd be more vans on the secondhand market, but whenever you look up secondhand Zone caravans for sale, there's not that many at all, and so they do go for, you know, good money.
Good resale value,
you're not really losing a lot of money when you go to sell it secondhand. So that's good peace of mind too.
Yeah, I periodically check like the caravan sales like every month, and there's never been a point in time where there's like more than 30 zones on there, which is pretty,
in the whole of Australia,
pretty good. And you see a lot of them out on the road, so it's really like cool to be involved with a brand where people are buying their vans and then doing like long extended trips. You see so many of them out on the road, so it's really cool for us to see that too. So a good thing about Zone is that they're always innovating. I think they've got something like 8 engineers working at Zone all the time, constantly improving things, constantly looking for the latest in technology, fitting the latest technology into the vans. They're always evolving. Like every month I feel like there's something new going on.
Speaking of all of that innovation that Zone do, there has been so many upgrades to these vans from the 12 months ago when we picked up our Peregrine to what the Peregrines have now that are going out. So in saying that, we are very excited that in a few weeks time we're going to be swapping out of this van and into a new Peregrine with the latest upgraded features. So that's so exciting, and it's also really going to help us with the work that we do, you know, showcasing the van and talking to people about Zone RV and being able to answer questions about all of those features and that kind of thing as well. So we're very excited for that in a few weeks.
Yeah, we'll have like a broad knowledge of like everything Zone RV, all the different updates and specifications that you can choose. And yeah, I feel like we'll be able to, once we trial out all these new different things, we'll be able to talk really broadly to anyone, like depending on their circumstances, but depending on like what travel they want to do. Yeah, it'll be really valuable for us to have those experiences and be able to share those experiences with others. So
definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, that brings us to the end of this episode. We hope that you got something out of it and found it helpful. We really appreciate you watching and following along. It means so much. But yeah, if you know of someone who's interested in caravans or Zone RV, make sure you send them this video if you think that they would enjoy it too. And yeah,
appreciate you watching as always, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.